What is going on, everybody? My name is Josh Markowitz, and I'm here with the former three-time world champion Moose. Moose, how you doing today?
I am doing great.
I'm glad to hear that. And look, let's cut right to the chase. We got TNA Slammiversary, June 28th in Boston. This is a massive event. We have Ultimate X, we have the return of Amazing Red, but we also have the culmination of a 10-year-long rivalry between Moose and Eddie Edwards. So, is this the last chapter?
Uh, I posted a tweet or a post on Instagram a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, and saying that it seems like this is a fight between me and Eddie that's gonna last forever, right? So, is it the last chapter? I would say it's the last chapter in this book.
Hmm,
But who knows what's gonna happen down the road? Because
100%.
something always seems to happen
Yep.
between me and
So,
Eddie Edwards. Yeah.
yeah, it seems like whenever you guys are in the same building, you guys are either best friends or foes. And so you and Eddie
Yeah.
Edwards have been in the ring over 40 times together just in TNA itself, and almost evenly split between teaming up and fighting each other. So you've wrestled on the same side 21 times and against each other 24 times. So, from friends to foes, I'm sure you know Eddie Edwards like, the own back of your hand. I got to ask, how do you prepare for a match where your opponent knows you so well, but you also know your opponent that well?
Uh, it's it's easy actually, because there's really no studying you need to do on your opponent. You walk in, you already know the guy. You know everything he does. You know how he thinks. And the other way around, he knows everything I do. He knows how I think. So it's gonna be a chess match. Um, but it's gonna be fun and it's gonna be great.
I gotta ask, what does beating Eddie Edwards do for you, specifically in this current era of your career, where you are right now?
For me, it especially with this story in this chapter in this book that we're in, it just proves the point that I created the system, and I was a guy, and the I was the most important piece in the system. And how do I prove that? I beat every member of the system.
100%. What's one word you would use to describe Eddie Edwards?
One word. In a positive light, I would say he's the heart of TNA.
Wow, that's high praise.
Hmm.
And so you've been through multiple eras of TNA, right? Multiple championship runs, and now another Slammiversary spotlight. Where do you believe that this match sits in your overall legacy story with this decade-long story between you and Eddie, potentially culminating, but also maybe continuing?
It's hard to tell you what this match will be is ranked because it hasn't happened yet. So that if you once we have it, then you can ask me where it ranks, and I'll give you an honest answer. But it's hard to say. I would say the story is ranked probably number up there in all the stories that we've had with each other. But as to the actual match, you have to ask me that question after Slammiversary.
Is there a different feeling in the air, just before the match, before preparation, when it's Eddie Edwards? A former good friend.
Because in my attitude, I treat every match the same. I'm always 100% focused. Like Bill Belichick said, just another day in the office. It just happens to be somebody that at one point I called a brother, and a guy that knows everything about me, and I know everything about them. But do I prepare about it any differently? No. I still go in there with the same attitude as I go in with everybody.
And do you still have love for Eddie? Is there still something deep inside where, you, not that you feel bad, but, that you want to, not completely hurt him to the fullest extent, or is that all gone?
No, you're right. I mean, there's always going to be love for Eddie. There's always going to be love for every member of the system. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to beat the living hell out of him. No, I'm going to beat the living hell out of him because sometimes you have to beat the living hell out of your siblings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what this is going to be. Like, if I send him to the hospital, it's just hey, now you know next time not to f with me.
Would you consider paying for his hospital bills?
No chance.
So I want to ask, there's a different feel about Slammiversary in Boston this year. What is it about this year's Slammiversary that's different from years prior?
Um, It's just, I mean, I won't say it's different. It's just one of those things that when we get to Slammiversary, it's one of our biggest shows of the year. Some people might even argue it is our biggest show of the year. So I think there is something special to Slammiversary season. But to say this is the biggest one of all time, I can't answer that. I'll let the fans answer that. I mean, we as a company want to make it the biggest one of all time, and that's why the fans should buy tickets at Ticketmaster and show up because you never know what surprise is going to happen. And I could tell you, I've heard a lot of rumors from internally, and there will be some surprises, and I think. We gave up one of them with Amazing Red coming back, and so you don't want to miss all the things that we have set. It's gonna be a fun night. The company is trying to make it one of the biggest Slammiversaries, so kudos to them. And yeah, you don't want to miss it.
Did you know about the Amazing Red prior to the announcement?
No, I didn't.
Well, that's a great reveal. So I also want to ask, more towards your personal life. So looking back on your career, I'm a current Syracuse student, and of course you played Syracuse football, and then you went to the NFL, and then you went to professional wrestling. You see a ton of, athletes and specifically football players transitioning into wrestlers, but I feel like you were one of the first successful people to really make that switch over. What kind of advice do you give to former athletes who are looking to transition into the business?
First, make sure you really love pro wrestling, because if you don't love pro wrestling, it finds a way to weed out the people who just want to make a quick dollar doing pro wrestling. So make sure you're a fan of it, number one, and be patient because you're not gonna be a superstar overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to go through the trials and errors, and you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
and the
Yeah,
ups and downs.
100%. I always like to end off this way. I want to ask, when you're away from the ring, what helps you reset and recharge?
I watch a lot of wrestling. I play a lot of video games. And just spending time when I can with my wife, and sleep.
100%. Sleep is the best medicine. They always say that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Moose, this has been great. Again, Moose versus Eddie Edwards, a decade-long rivalry, accumulating Sunday, June 28th in Boston at TNA Slammiversary. I can't wait to watch. I will be there in person, and I know you can't wait to be in that ring. So, Moose, thank you for the time. I really appreciate it.
All right, thank you.